Welcome to Lecture 9, RNA Seq Analysis in Practice. In this session, we move from theory to real datasets, following RNA sequencing from raw reads to biological interpretation, using examples from the GIGA Genomics Bioinformatics team. GIGA Genomics is our sequencing platform. We support projects from biological material to data delivery, DNA and RNA library prep, high throughput and next-generation sequencing, and a dedicated bioinformatics team for analysis and interpretation. Transcriptomics focuses on the transcriptome, the complete set of RNA molecules produced from DNA. By measuring RNA levels, we infer gene expression and link genomic information to functional protein output in specific cells or conditions. To study the transcriptome, we use high-throughput sequencing. RNA is fragmented, converted to libraries, and sequenced in parallel, generating millions of short reads. This genome-wide view enables quantitative analysis of gene expression. RNA Seq starts from tissue, which is dissociated into cells. We extract RNA, convert it to cDNA, and build sequencing libraries. Options such as FACS allow us to enrich specific cell populations before sequencing to refine expression profiles. Single-cell RNA Seq extends this by profiling individual cells. Each cell's RNA or cDNA receives a unique barcode, so reads can be assigned back to cells after sequencing. This reveals cellular heterogeneity that bulk RNA-seq cannot capture. Here are typical Illumina sequencers. MySeq and HiSeq serve smaller or legacy projects, while NextSeq and NovaSeq deliver higher throughput. Choosing an instrument balances read depth, run time, and cost against the project's objectives. Illumina sequencing relies on sequencing by synthesis. DNA fragments with adapters bind to a flow cell, undergo bridge amplification to form clusters, and are read base by base. Fluorescent signals are recorded and converted into sequences. RNA-seq generates large data volumes, so computing is critical. We manage processing, storage, and results using scripting languages such as Bash, Python, Perl, and R. Pipelines and containers ensure reproducible and shareable analyses. Data management spans from laptops to clusters. Small tests may run locally, but production RNA-seq typically requires lab workstations and centralized storage or compute clusters, which provide higher memory, CPUs, and secure backups. A single NovaSeq run can produce around 1.2 terabytes of data, billions of reads, and hundreds of indexed samples. Because the instrument has no long-term storage, efficient transfer and organization of each run are essential from day one. The first processing step is demultiplexing, assigning reads to samples using their indexes. Output is stored in FASTQ files, which contain identifiers, sequences, and quality scores. Typical RNA-seq projects reach about 20 million reads per sample. From a researcher's view, samples are delivered to the platform, sequenced, and stored on servers. The result is a set of FASTQ files. Without appropriate tools and support, these files can be difficult to interpret and translate into biology. In practice, researchers may wait a long time between submitting samples and understanding FASTQ data. This highlights the need for streamlined analysis pipelines and training so that sequencing output rapidly becomes usable insight. Our RNA-seq workflow starts with transcriptomics for gene expression. We perform sequencing quality control, read mapping, and quantification, followed by QC of these steps. Then we run downstream analyses such as clustering and differential expression. Quality control of sequencing is performed with tools like FastQC. We examine read counts, base calling quality, GC content, read length, duplication, adapter contamination, and overrepresented sequences to ensure data are suitable for analysis. We begin with sequencing quality control. Using multi-QC, we aggregate metrics from all samples into a single report. Here we review per base quality, read length distribution, and GC content. This step allows us to quickly detect technical issues before moving on to mapping and downstream analyses. Mapping assigns each sequencing read to its genomic origin. We align reads against a reference genome and gene set, typically obtained from databases such as Ensemble or UCSC. Accurate references are critical, as they define where genes are located and how we interpret the biological signal. Our reference data consist of two key files. The FASTA file stores the genome sequence, while the GTF file describes gene models, including exons and transcripts. Together, these files guide the aligner in placing reads correctly and later enable accurate gene-level quantification. For human data, we map reads to the Homo sapiens genome and gene set. Common aligners include STAR and HiSat, which are optimized for spliced RNA reads. These tools are computationally intensive, so we rely on high-memory multi-core servers to process large datasets efficiently. Before mapping, we index the genome. Indexing builds searchable data structures that allow the aligner to query the reference quickly. Although index creation is resource demanding, it is performed once per genome and then reused, significantly accelerating subsequent analyses. Mapping results are stored in SAM or BAM files. Key fields include FLAG, which encodes alignment properties, rname for the chromosome, POS for the first aligned base, MapPQ is a quality score, and SIGAR describing alignment operations. These elements are essential for robust downstream filtering. Once reads are aligned, we quantify RNA expression. Each gray block represents a mapped read along the genome. By counting how many reads overlap each gene, such as gene A and gene B, we obtain a first estimate of their expression levels across our samples. Quantification must handle reads that overlap multiple features. Tools apply rules such as union, intersection strict, or intersection non-empty to decide whether a read is assigned to gene A, marked as ambiguous, or discarded. These choices directly influence the resulting expression estimates. The main output of quantification is a count matrix. Each row corresponds to a gene and each column to a sample. The entries are raw read counts. This matrix is the central input for all subsequent statistical analyses, including normalization and differential expression testing. We also perform quality control on mapping and quantification using multi-QC. Here we review general statistics such as the percentage of assigned reads, alignment rates, duplication levels, and GC content. Consistent metrics across samples indicate a reliable and well-controlled experiment. Multi-QC further summarizes STAR alignment scores. Bar plots show how many reads are uniquely mapped, multi-mapped, or remain unmapped for each sample. These distributions help us identify outliers, technical failures, or contamination before we proceed to interpret biological results. In addition, multi-QC reports STAR gene counts. For each sample, we see how reads are distributed across overlapping genes, ambiguous features, multi-mapping, and unmapped categories. This overview confirms that most reads contribute to informative gene-level signals. Downstream analysis starts from the count matrix and a clear experimental design. Using R and packages such as DESEQ2, EGR, VOUM, ROTS, and Limma, we model the data statistically. The outputs include tables, figures, and reports that summarize differential expression patterns. Normalization rescales raw counts so we can compare genes and samples fairly. A key factor is sequencing depth. Samples with more reads will naturally have higher counts. By adjusting for depth, we ensure that observed differences reflect biology rather than technical variation. Normalization also accounts for gene length. Longer genes attract more reads simply due to their size. Methods such as RPKM or TPM correct for both depth and length, enabling more meaningful comparisons of expression levels between genes within the same sample. Comprehensive normalization considers sequencing depth, gene length, and RNA composition. This step is essential for differential expression analysis as it minimizes technical bias. Properly normalized data allow us to detect genuine changes in gene activity between conditions. This slide compares RNA Seq normalization methods. CPM adjusts for sequencing depth only. TPM and RPKM also account for gene length but are not suited for differential expression. DECQ2's median of ratios and EdgeR's TMM additionally correct for RNA composition and are recommended for robust DE analysis. Once counts are generated, we move to downstream analysis. First, we verify that the experimental design matches our biological question. Then we explore sample relationships using clustering, correlation heat maps, hierarchical trees, and principal component analysis to detect groups, trends, and potential outliers. Here we extend downstream analysis with differential expression. After clustering using correlations, Euclidean distance, and PCA, we perform pairwise comparisons between conditions. The MA plot visualizes mean expression versus log fold change, helping us identify genes that are significantly up or down regulated. Differential expression results are summarized in tables listing base mean log2 fold change and adjusted p-values. We then quantify how many genes are significantly up or down regulated, check for outliers in low-count genes, and ensure that our conclusions are based on statistically robust signals. Because we test thousands of genes, raw p-values are not sufficient. A threshold of 0.05 would yield many false positives by chance. We therefore apply multiple testing corrections such as Benjamini-Hochberg, FDR, Bonferroni, or Q-value methods to control the expected false discovery rate. After identifying differentially expressed genes, we interpret their biological meaning. Gene ontology and gene set enrichment tools, such as GSEA, Enricher, Gorilla, and Panther, test whether specific pathways or functional categories are overrepresented, turning long gene lists into actionable insights. This slide summarizes the full RNA Seq workflow. We start from the sequencing run, demultiplex reads into FASTQ files, and perform quality control. Reads are mapped to the genome, quantified at the gene level, and counts undergo further QC. Finally, we conduct downstream statistical and biological analyses. Reproducibility is essential for credible RNA Seq studies. Pipelines and containers allow us to capture every step of the analysis so that results can be regenerated later by ourselves or by others, even when computing environments or personnel change over time. A pipeline is a defined sequence of actions, which software is used, with which parameters, and against which reference data. Workflow managers such as Nextflow and SnakeMake formalize this process, from FASTQ quality control through mapping and quantification to downstream analyses, ensuring consistency. Pipelines are implemented as scripts that document each step, inputs, commands, and outputs. Tools like Nextflow, SnakeMake, and the NF Core community provide reusable, peer-reviewed workflows. This scripting approach makes complex analyses transparent, shareable, and straightforward to rerun. Without robust reproducibility practices, sharing only FASTQ files and loose scripts is risky. Over time, software changes and undocumented parameters make it difficult for collaborators, or even ourselves, to regenerate the same results, undermining confidence in the findings. Reproducibility is challenged by variability. Software and reference databases are frequently updated, leading to version differences. Compatibility issues and changing file formats add complexity. In addition, staff turnover can result in loss of tacit knowledge if workflows are not fully documented. Containers such as Docker and Singularity address these issues by packaging software and all dependencies into a single versioned image. Running analyses inside containers ensures that the same tools and configurations are used every time, independent of the underlying hardware or operating system. By combining raw data, analysis scripts, and container images, we create a fully reproducible research package. This bundle can be shared with collaborators and the wider community, enabling others around the world to rerun our analyses and build confidently on our work. Public repositories such as NCBI's Gene Expression Omnibus and EMBL-EBI's Array Express store processed and raw expression data. Depositing datasets there ensures long-term preservation, facilitates data discovery, and allows independent groups to reanalyze or integrate our results. To conclude, we have reviewed the RNA Seq workflow from normalization and downstream analysis to reproducibility and data sharing. Thank you for your attention, and I welcome any questions or comments on how these practices can support your projects.